Welcome to another episode of Suffering with Vern.
You have to do the biceps, the triceps, and the chest.
It's like I'm inflating with a pump, you see?
If I get taken down, I'm not gonna be able to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay down. The reality is, I'm not gonna be able to get through a season. Guys always remember the end of your career. They don't remember the prime. They remember the end. Every single person like messaged me saying like, "What was wrong? Like something looked wrong. Something looked wrong." And I was like, "Well, yeah, there was something wrong."
Are you gonna go to Dagestan, bro? We spoke about that last time.
Dude.
Hey everybody, today I am at Mad Fit MMA. I'm here to meet one of the legends of South African MMA. Of course, I'm talking about Don Madge. We're going to chat to him about his retirement, his training, and his future plans. Stay tuned for this one. You don't want to miss it. What's up, Don?
How you doing, bro?
Like, and you?
Nice to see you.
You too. Yeah, good to be here, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
That's my first time here, man. So I know we spoke about it on the podcast last time.
Yeah.
It'd be good to take a look around. Can we go have a look and see what it looks like?
Let's go check it out.
Sweet. First thing I wanted to ask you about, Mayweather and Khabib. What was the sort of inspiration behind it? What's the meaning? Because we see it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, so we kind of thought like, we have the artist Chaz Williams, who's like a very, very well-known artist here in South Africa, and he's been like a long-time supporter of Mad Fit, and he's been training here for a long time. And we thought like, okay, we do MMA and we do boxing predominantly, you know, and obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all that, but MMA and boxing is like our two main focuses. And we're like, okay, who are the two best guys that we can think of, the two greatest guys? And we're like, okay, Khabib, of course, undefeated, and Floyd, undefeated. Yeah. Why not make them, what happens if they would fight?
Yeah, well, if they fought, I mean, Khabib would smash him, but if they box, but yeah.
If they box,
and there's similar weight classes as well,
exactly.
You know,
so I was like, we got to do that. We wanted to put Floyd somewhere, and then I was like, well, we have to have Khabib somewhere.
That's awesome.
It was a toss-up between Khabib and Conor, and I was like, no, you got to.
We've seen Conor already against him, so it's like, yeah, that's super cool, man. Yeah, all the photos and stuff are over here. So like, if you see it on social media and stuff, it's always super awesome. Cool, man. Yeah. And then you've obviously got the boxing section over here. Yeah. I see with the Fight Island at the back there.
Yeah. So basically, we're going through like a bit of a revamp at the moment. As you can see, like there's kind of like a bit of mixture of like different brands going on at the moment. We're actually working with the Ligon brand at the moment, and they're going to help put all the stuff in and start getting things looking a little bit more uniform. Yeah. So we've got the two boxing rings. We've got like, this is like the pro ring where like the pro guys train, and then that's like the amateur ring where the amateur guys and the clients and stuff train. Nice. And then this is where like all the boxing and the kickboxing and the Muay Thai and all that stuff happens.
Are you guys going to put mats here, I think you said as well?
Yeah, so the plan is to have this entire area matted out so that, you know, because guys, if they fall here, it's a problem.
Yeah. Are you guys going to block off the glass part or?
Probably not. We'll probably just not put the mats all the way up to the glass, you know, just kind of keep it a little bit off. But, you know, it's so nice having this light coming in.
100%.
This actually used to be a photo place.
Like, they were saying actually, they were telling me it was a photo place. Yeah, so and they had the red room upstairs still as well. Yeah.
So the light's really nice in here, and we try to keep the lights in as much as possible.
And if you're rolling in a gi or training in a gi, then that's like perfect with the breeze coming through, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, the gym's still got like a long way to go, but we are slowly building. You know, we started from fucking scratch. We started like in a tiny little studio. Yeah. And we had like nothing. We just had like a couple pads and shit. So like, we just slowly been adding.
This is proper, man. This is proper. Speaking of Fight Island, how did that all come about? Because I know you guys have done boxing events before, but that was like taking it to the next level. Yeah,
so I've been speaking to Matt, because it's actually Matt's like baby, you know. I've been saying to him, I was like, bro, why don't you just do pro boxing like promotion? And he's always been like kind of against it. And I was like, I'm telling you, if you do it, you'll do it better than like the other guys.
Most people, yeah.
I was like, just do it, like, you know, like just do it and see what happens. And then he did. I mean, it's like, it was amazing.
It was massive. It looked massive.
Yeah, it's incredible. And the next one in April is going to be even better.
Yeah, I saw it was already straight away. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously as things go, you guys have got experience at that, and then like the more you go, it just goes bigger, better. And I think South Africa needs it, and I think Cape Town specifically needs it.
Exactly.
I know you guys were talking a lot about doing events and stuff,
Yeah.
whether it be MMA, kickboxing, boxing. So
Yeah.
it's always cool to see it come to fruition.
So like my main thing for like MMA is that, you know, in Cape Town especially, is there's not a lot of ways to develop fighters. So like guys fight like maybe 2-3 times a year at amateur events, and then they turn pro, and then they like don't have the experience to fight pro.
Yeah.
So like the plan for next year is we've obviously got our own cage, is to build it up from grassroots, get the guys in development shows here at the gym, get them fighting once a month, just get guys like rolling out fights, get 10 fights in a year, then turn pro.
Yeah.
You know, like try to actually build the sport rather than like thinking about a money grab of like, okay, let's have an event so we can make money.
Yeah.
It's going to be more about let's build the guys so we can start like pumping out some like real like skillful fighters.
Yeah, especially again for Cape Town, like everybody thinks you got to go up to Johannesburg, Pretoria to go be able to do that.
Well, you do right now.
Right now you do, I guess, but I mean, there are so many good fighters in Cape Town. And then like, again, you just see it, people go up, and it'll be really cool to like have everybody here that's from here have to like not have to go up and just stay here.
The thing is like the pros in Cape Town are great.
Yeah.
But most of the pros in Cape Town had like a 35 kickboxing background as an amateur, and they turned pro into MMA, and it's like, but there's no real like mad development of actual amateur MMA in South Africa, or in Cape Town, sorry. In Joburg, it's massive. Yeah. But so like my attention is going to be pushed onto that, and eventually we'll be doing pro stuff too.
Are you guys? Do you think you'll do like feeder type stuff for like, because you were with PFL, had connection to One, like that kind of thing? Would you guys think that's eventually in the plans, or is that a little bit too far ahead to think?
Yeah. So basically, like the long-term goal will always be to try get some sort of feeder into the bigger promotions, you know. But I don't want to be like short-sighted and think like, okay, we're only going to be a feeder. I also want us to have a promotion that people look at and be like, oh, yeah, you can go there and like actually make a little bit of a career of yourself, get paid well, you know, get some good publicity, get some good sponsors. Very few people are going to compete with like UFC. Yeah. Like very few people, and it's like that takes years and a lot of money to get even close to a competitive. And like you look at other promotions that have like a lot of money, they still don't compete with UFC in terms of viewership, you know. Yeah. It's just not the same. So like, of course, the goal for any fighter coming out of South Africa, I guess, would be to say, I want to go to the UFC. You know, like that's what everyone wants to do. So I would never think, okay, my promotion is more important.
Gotta compete with them.
Exactly. If you want to go to the UFC, like go. Like you're gonna be like that's what we want you to do.
You just want to have a launching pad or like a stepping stone and just be part of it. And
it's just so hard for guys in South Africa to become like legitimate like world level fighters, unless you get like the breakthrough stars, the guys that are just like special, like the Drickuses and stuff. You know, the guys that are special that break through. But we have so much talent that there could be 40 of us, there could be 50 of us. We could be the next like Dagestan. Like it's just we don't have the
channels to go there. Yeah, 100%. All right, I want to go see that cage, so let's go have a look. Let's go to that side. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff you guys need, man. Like people need this because you need to have that feeling of being in a cage and.
Yeah, so I mean it's quite small. It's just a training cage, but like you say, you know, it's the environment. You know, you get used to that environment of being like once you hear that door close, like something changes in your mind. You know? Like I always say, like once you hear that lock, ting, you know, it's real.
It feels like this thing's pressing you down as well because the roof is so close and everything, man. This is sick.
Yeah.
But now the last time we spoke, it was like just after your injury, or I think you'd just started recovering.
Yes.
And you were talking about when the next fight was going to be. We didn't know when it was.
Yeah.
And then obviously the news came out that you were going to be in the tournament.
Yes.
How were you feeling going back into fighting? And then, you know, how obviously the two fights that you had in PFL, you know, how were you feeling in each of those?
Yeah, man. I mean, like it was always in my mind, like, okay, if I can't get through another tournament, then like there's no point in competing anymore, you know? So I was like, I gotta have one more bash at this tournament. So yeah, everything was like all preparation, everything was fine. I got injured pretty badly in March, the month before I fought Brennan Ward.
Oh, already before?
Yeah. I'd torn the cartilage in my sternum, like that attaches to the rib.
Really?
I was wrestling and I landed like pretty ugly on a knee, and it just popped out. And so I didn't do any contact for like 5.5 weeks before fighting him. So I didn't spar, I didn't grapple, I just like kind of hit pads and like just stayed in shape. And I just kind of made it to the fight, and thank goodness the fight was only like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like I probably would have had like a problem.
What does it feel like? Like when you like, how is it's hard to breathe? It's just hard to do anything.
It's hard to breathe, and it feels like if you have any weights like on your chest, like goes through your back, and so like you can't take deep breaths.
Yeah.
So you gas, you get tired.
And of course, if someone's on top of you, or you guys are in a clinch,
yeah,
shots.
Clinch is the worst because like every time you rotate, you have to like brace.
Yeah.
And then like that pressure is like really, really tough. And the worst part is that like as you try to train through it, it refers, and you get like neck pain and you get lower back pain. It's just like keeps spiraling out of control. And then like so I made it through that fight, and then obviously you'd have a really quick turnaround. So I had like 7 weeks to train for the next fight, and so I just try to get through that training camp. And
Did you feel any worse after the fight, or did you feel kind of the same after that fight?
I felt okay because, you know, like the week of your fight, you kind of taper, you don't really do that much contact, and then you have the fight, and I took a week off. So like I was feeling okay, and then I came back to training, and I was like taking it easy. It wasn't like crazy training. I was just trying to like manage it as best as I could, and you know, the camp was okay. It was fine. There was no major issues in terms of like pain or injury. And then fucking like everything was fine. And then first minutes into that fight, like we got into our first like grappling exchange, and I just felt to do the same thing where it just like popped off, and I was like, fuck. And then the problem is like it's in your head now.
I was gonna ask you mentally how you then, because
no, like everything just goes out the window. You just think, all you're thinking about is like, if I get taken down, I'm not gonna be able to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay down.
Did you almost end on a heel hook on him in the first round?
And it's so frustrating because he said afterwards, he came up to me and he was like, bro, that heel hook was like this close.
I know.
And the reason I let it go is because my coach Rich was like, use this to get on top. So I was like, you listen to your corners, I let it go. But then after he told me that, I was like, fuck, I should have tried to finish it.
Dude, I was losing my shit because I was like, he's literally going to heel hook a Gracie.
Yeah, it was on. I could feel it was on.
Because I thought it was like that they don't tap, you know, because a lot of Brazilians don't tap.
Yeah.
For heel hooks specifically.
I don't think he would have.
Yeah.
I probably would have had to break it, but it would have broken for sure. I could feel
that was
it was
so
tight.
deep on there.
I could feel it was tight.
Dude, yeah, but then like obviously mentally you, like a lot of mental things come into mind. You're like, okay, you're constantly thinking about it, but also you're probably like, a lot of times a lot of people think like, oh, my best is here, now I'm injured, now I'm only going here. So like, is it worth it to keep continuing? I mean, obviously quitting doesn't come into your mind, but like that plays into a lot of people's minds. Like, you know, you're not at your best.
Yeah.
You know, I can imagine it's tough to
Well, the
mentally.
problem was like, I was like, on the feet, if I let go too much and he gets a hold of me, then I'm going to have to be fighting him in the clinch. And that's where it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where it's like the worst for me. And like, I can't sprawl because I can't drive my hips in. I can't brace. So like, I know if he grabs me, it's going to be hard to knock her down. So then like, you don't want to throw on the feet as much. So then I was like, kind of like trying to pot shot off on the feet where I would normally like open up a bit more. And then on the ground, I couldn't wrestle up. I could only wrestle up on this side, and he was always on this side. So it was like, I think in the second round, I wrestled up and I took him down. Because he was on this side of my body, so I could come up, I could sit up, but I couldn't do a sit up on the other side.
Pain,
So like it was frustrating because in my mind I was like, okay, I'm basically just gonna have to try submit him off my back. And like, it's difficult.
Yeah, of course.
In MMA especially against like a Gracie, and you're getting punched in the face. It's like, it's not optimal to try and submit someone off your back. And so yeah, it was frustrating. And then like each round goes, you get more and more frustrated, and you realize like you're 2 rounds down, and I gotta try to finish him, but I can't throw. It's like, it was a shitstorm.
Because honestly, like I could see, in my mind I thought something was off.
Yeah.
You know, because like, you could just see something was off. I don't know what it was, and then it made sense afterwards when you said you had the injury, because that like, it was a completely different like fight actually, like from what you're used to.
Yeah.
So like was the game plan then, like you said just to hit him with pot shots and not try to go to the ground then?
Exactly.
Like I mean it's probably like a tough situation because it's like you can't go forward, like
and
you
that
say.
wasn't the plan going into the fight. Into the fight, I was going to match him on the feet and like, you know, outstrike him on the feet.
Go for the finish.
Counter wrestle, perhaps put him on his back. Like that was like the plan. And then like as soon as that happened, I was like, well, I can't do that now. So now I've got to try and just like land like a good shot on him.
Yeah.
Like, so I was trying to like pot shot him, and then on the ground, I was like, okay, I just got to try to submit him. You know, like, I've got to try and submit him with something. But obviously, it's difficult in an MMA setting to submit someone off your back. You have to get like the right opportunity, and also like as the rounds go, they're slippery.
Yeah.
It's like really tough.
Yeah, and you get punched in the face, like you said.
Exactly.
Did you decide kind of straight away that you weren't going to do the playoffs, or how long after that did you?
To be honest,
did you know?
I actually got out of the fight, and I was told, okay, you're gonna make it to the playoffs, and then I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna try my best to get through this camp. So I was like living on painkillers throughout the whole of the camp. I was living on like spasmids, painkillers, anti-inflammatories, like the whole way through. And then like I started having like side effects from that, like not sleeping, like stomach issues. And then I came back to Cape Town because we had just moved houses. I was in Joburg training, and I came back to Cape Town just to like move houses. And that week I was like taking it as like a rest week. And the moments I wasn't taking painkillers and stuff, I was like, I literally couldn't grapple with like my like white belts.
Really?
I couldn't have anyone lying on top of me. So I was like,
how are you going to do that?
What's the point? I'm going to go and have another shit performance, and then like that's the only thing I'm going to remember is how cuck my performance was. It's not going to be like, oh, you lost. I don't care if you lose. Losing doesn't matter if your performance is great. If you go and you have a war with someone, you lose, like whatever.
Yeah.
But if you go and you have like a shit performance and you lose, it's like the worst thing ever. So I was like, I don't want to have another bad performance. So I was like, I have to make the decision now. Like, what's the best decision? Am I going to take time away from my family and then have a shit performance, which I know is going to happen?
Yeah, it's like a 90% likelihood.
Yeah, because in the week of the fight, you can't be taking painkillers. You can't do it. You can't take painkillers before you fight. It's like you can't do it. And so I just made the decision. And then after that decision, I had spoken to my wife, and I was like, the reality is I'm not going to be able to get through a season. Like realistically, like I've tried to like a couple times now, and there's always an injury. I just don't think like my style of training or my style of fighting is built for back-to-back fights every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks. So I was like, the reality is then I was going to retire at the age of 35. So I retired a year early at the age of 34. So I was like, I was always going to retire at the end of next year. Like that was always my thing. And so I just made the decision. I was like, look, like there's no point keep doing this and just keep wasting like everybody's time. It's like there's no reason. And also the reality is that I know what it takes to perform at that level. And having my second child now, I was like, I don't feel the juice is worth the squeeze. Like, am I willing to spend 6 months of the year away from my family?
Yeah, that's hard.
To chase something when like I have everything that like I've worked so hard to get, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've done everything that I wanted to do in terms of like my life. I've got like a family, I've got a great business, I've got like 2 kids that are amazing. Like
it's time to focus on that.
Like things are great outside. You don't need to keep chasing this thing, the thing. You know?
Dude, chasing the dragon's heavy, dude,
yeah.
And then you end up being like an Anderson Silva that stays too long, and it's
exactly.
like you also don't want to tarnish your legacy as well,
exactly.
you know. And then like maybe you've got the 2 fights before the playoffs, and like if you get injured again and maybe have 2 more losses, it's like what for?
What's the point?
And then you're like, okay, I've got the 2 more losses. Now I've got to make those up, and then I'm going to make up. It's just a debt you're never gonna pay off.
Yeah. And it's time away from your family. It's like a lot of sacrifice, and it's just like, okay, you know how it is. You got a small child. It's like they're only going to be small for that time.
I know, and it's quick.
And if you miss it, it's gone.
Yeah.
There's like you're not going to get it back. And I'm like, I'm just not willing to do that anymore.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Speaking of training, I think it's time for us to go hit a strength and conditioning session, which I'm looking forward to and dreading at the same time.
Let's go.
But yeah, let's go, man. Change the name of the series to just Torture Burn.
Oh, we did those? Yeah.
It's so weird though, like after the set I'm at like 120.
Yeah.
And just before the set I'm at 130. So I don't know if I'm like nervous or some shit, you know?
I see it when guys do conditioning, their heart rate will like drop down, and then as they're about to start the next one, they get nervous. Their heart rate like spikes, like right before they start training.
Yeah, it's that whole thing of like before comp and probably like before fight as well. Yeah. It's like you chilled, and then your mind just comes in probably like, oh fuck, I'm walking out now. Like.
Well, that's the thing is like everyone thinks conditioning is like training. Conditioning is actually just being conditioned to the environment.
Yeah.
So like you could never do like conditioning in the gym, but you're so used to the environment that you don't actually get tired.
Yeah.
Which is like it's like a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
like if you practice it, and when you get in there, it's like you're already used to it.
Yeah. Well, like sparring is conditioning.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like it's not like training. It's not a conditioning workout, but you're conditioning yourself to a fight.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. These are gonna explode. Let's go! Big red 2. Let's go! That bicep vein looks like it's about to explode, dude.
Oh, feels like.
He's got a hose pipe on his bicep.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the feeling of coming in the gym and then in the...
You have to do the biceps, the triceps, the chest.
It's like I'm inflating with a pump, you see? Welcome to another episode of Suffering with Vern. Righty.
Let's go. Reps.
Whew.
Nice, Vern. Nice, Vern.
I was just saying this. Weakness leaving the body. But you see how it stays. It doesn't want to go. It just stays here. If you guys don't subscribe right now, you guys are gonna have to be put through this every single day until you do. Do it now. Woo! Otherwise this. Yeah, okay, so
Good shit, dude. Well done.
I swear this is like a torture week, but it's good. It's always like those workouts where when you're in it you want to give up,
no?
but one, you can't give up in front of someone like
Casual.
God.
You have to be
And
casual.
two, you just gotta push through, man. If you throw up, you throw up. If you just do half, at least you do something. Because like now, I feel amazing. I don't have the best workout. It was hard. I didn't finish some of the reps, they were like half, but it's done. The hard work's on the floor, and if you look back, you can feel proud that you made it. So, hope you guys enjoyed that torture. Maybe there'll be more. I don't know yet. after the conversation with your wife about retiring, you've got to have a conversation with PFL, obviously. How did they react, and how did that conversation go about retiring?
So once I'd made the decision to pull out of the playoffs, I spoke to my manager Tim, and I said, look, like realistically, I'm not going to continue with MMA. I'm gonna call it a day on MMA. There's no point in me keep doing this cycle of like getting like a bit of momentum and then getting injured and having to take time off. And so, my plan was always to retire at 35, and I retired at 34 just because of circumstance. And I was just like, let's call it a day. I have other things I've got like the opportunity to focus on, like my business, my family. I've got all these other things that I'm doing outside of fighting that actually require a lot of attention.
Yeah, definitely.
So I had to just make the call. I think it's like I've always said, like I'm never gonna stick around forever. Like I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be that guy that just keeps trying to chase to be like this person, trying to chase being the magic man. Like that's not what I've ever wanted to do. And I find it like really sad when you see fighters doing that. I think it's like it's upsetting. You see guys that are like legends and then they just kind of like fade off, and it's just like ugh.
And people always remember that.
Guys always remember the end of your career. They don't remember the prime. They remember the end. So like if you can end nearest to your prime, that's what you want to do. You don't want to wait until you're like a has-been.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to ever like look at myself and be like, oh fuck, you fought too long. So I just made the decision, and I think I'm happy with what I've done.
And the PFL, they were happy, or
PFL were cool. They were like super cool. Like obviously they were bummed that I wasn't going to be in the tournament anymore, in the playoffs. But they obviously understood. Like I didn't want to go there, and I said like that's my exact words. Like I don't want to go and have another shit performance, and it like looks bad on you guys. It looks bad on me. It looks bad on everyone. Like I'd rather say no, I'm not going to do it, and give someone else an opportunity to try.
Yeah. It'd be worse for them to actually have it go.
Yeah.
Like when you're injured and you
can see something's wrong.
Yeah. Like I said, you could see it after round 2 straight away.
Every single person like messaged me saying like, what was wrong? Like like something looked wrong, and I was like, well, yeah, there was something wrong.
And now, so transitioning now to life after fighting. Obviously, you got the business, you got the gym and everything. Is that going to be and your family, of course, is that going to be the majority of your time? Or are you going to maybe transition? Because I know you said you were trying to go for a jiu-jitsu world title as well. Are you going to transition into something else?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple ideas of what I'm going to do. Jiu-jitsu is definitely one of them. I've got a couple other things lined up, which I can't speak about just yet.
Okay, cool.
But pretty soon, like, we're going to make some announcements, and there's going to be a lot. I'm still going to be competing, basically.
Yeah.
Just not in MMA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, man, I want to ask you, I want to ask about kickboxing, I want to ask about boxing, but okay, yeah. So you can't get into too much.
Yeah.
Into too much there. Okay.
But we're definitely I'm still going to be competing.
Yeah. And obviously, put time into the athletes here and putting time into everybody here, and family, of course.
Well, like my main priority, like as soon as I started a family, was my family. Like it's the only reason that like you do any of this stuff, right? It's just to support your family and take care of your family and spend more time with your family. And so that's obviously priority number one. And then thereafter, I want to develop guys. I want to develop MMA, develop fighters, develop athletes. And try to build the sport in the direction that it's going, and like help push it in the direction that it's going. So that we can, take over combat sports. I believe like we should. Every sport that we really invest in terms of South Africa, we dominate.
Yeah.
Like we do. If you look at how we invest in rugby,
golf,
dominate. We dominate, and it's just like, we could do that with all combat sports. If we invested into it, we can dominate for sure.
100%. And obviously now we spoke about prospects, spoke about giving back. What are some of the ways you feel like are the best ways you can impart wisdom on the next generation of fighters coming up?
I mean, I think a lot of the time, like with guys that came from like sort of my generation, the guys like just before that, is like we didn't really have any mentors or anyone to like really look up to.
You went into the Wild West, bro, back in the day. Yeah.
It's just kind of like just winging it, and I think the most important thing for people that are aspiring to be like MMA fighters or are MMA fighters is to find a mentor. Find someone that's like been there, that's done that, or a team that's been there and done that, and those are the guys that you need to mimic. Those are the guys that you need to follow. Everyone wants to obviously be loyal to like the guys they started with and loyal to the guys, but if you just like in business, if you want to learn how to get successful in business, you mentor someone that's already been successful in that business. You don't listen to this guy that still lives with his mom and give me advice about your business. You gotta go to the guys that have been there and done that. And that would be like my main like advice to anyone trying to get into MMA or anything really, is find someone that's been successful at it and mimic them.
And trust the process, I think. And I think a lot of times people maybe they get frustrated and something's not working, and then they want to change things up and maybe go to a different place or something like that. You know, it's like stick with one person and go for it and trust the process. And again, if the person's done it before, that's a perfect person to learn from. And
there's so many people around that have not even just like athletes that have made, like coaches that have made athletes make it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many guys around now that there's such like a broad like avenue of trying to like find the right guy to be around, and there's no excuse not to. So if you really are serious about it and you're really serious about pursuing this, you know, I can always start, like everyone's like, oh, I want to be a world champion. I'm like, okay, but where are you training? Who are you training with? Where are you? Okay, you still living at home with your mom, training in your garage? You don't really want to do this. And it's always an excuse, oh, no money, don't have to. Bro, I slept in rings in Thailand because I wanted to become a world champion in Muay Thai. Like, if you want to do it, you'll do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You will do it.
You'll find a way to do it.
You'll do it.
Are you going to go to Dagestan, bro? We spoke about that last time.
Dude,
Dagestani Chronicles, bro. That would have been
I wanted to, and then the whole like Israel-Palestine thing happened, and I was thinking like, fuck, I don't want to be anywhere where any extreme shit happens. Like, I've got family, I've got like wife, kids. Like I'm not trying to die anywhere. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe you should get some of them to come out here if they can, I wonder if they can now, because like Hamzat and those guys. I don't know. I don't follow that type of politics. I don't know.
I just know that shit's going on. And I'm like, I don't want to be involved in it.
In any way, fair enough. And hey, maybe if it blows over, maybe now with Trump being the president, maybe he sorts a bunch of stuff out. And dude, if you do the Dagestani Chronicles, bro, you got to do it, bro. You got to get like full.
Well, myself and Richie have been talking about it for years, so.
Richie's got the Dagestan, he's got the beard growing as well. So it's like, it'll be really cool, man. I really want to see that. So please do it if you guys like.
It is a plan.
If shit blows over, then 100%. Don, thank you so much as always.
You,
it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
No, always.
And all the best with the future ventures, man. It's always cool to chat to you, and been on the podcast a bunch of times. So now it's good to have you on this format.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, exciting.
By the way, if you want to add anything, shout anybody out, that's the camera to do it.
Yeah, if you're in Cape Town and you're looking to get like high quality MMA, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training, strength and conditioning training, Manfred MMA with 47 De Villiers Street. Come check us out. It's not only for fighters, not only for professionals, it's not only for killers, it's for everybody. Anyone can come get it. So check us out, www.manfredmma.com, and everything's the same on our handles.
Come learn from the world champ. All of this is yours. You know Revive, I see, so we've got the 4-pack, and then the 3-pack, that's yours.
Thank you, bro.
And the bottle, yours, and socks and shirt.
Dope, bro. Thank you so much.
No worries, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, dude.
Awesome.
Right, guys, that wraps up our day with MMA legend Don Madge at MadFit. We got to see what his future plans were, talked to him about his retirement and a couple of the fights, and also they put me through the ringer with that training. Like I said, I think I'm going to stick to podcasting. As always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and share it far and wide. Of course, without our sponsors, Revive, this is not possible, so thank you so much, and we hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you for the next one, guys. Cheers, everybody.